one of the first British people to surf on the shores of Waikiki Beach in fucking Hawaii. Honestly, at the end of the day, Agatha Christie was just the first boss bitch. That's what I like to think. You have your own opinion, honey, okay? Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Tonight, it is almost night right here, though you can't tell by the lighting actually. Anyways, tonight I want to talk to you about one of my, if not my, favorite author of all times. I have mentioned her in many book video I have filmed these days, and I have positioned this camera right here for a good reason, because we're sitting right in front of my Agatha Christie shelf. So yeah, you got it right. The author I want to talk to you about today is Miss Dame. Yeah, she a dame, okay? And if you don't know what that is basically the female equivalent of becoming a knight. The queen can make you a dame or a knight, because Mrs. Agatha Christie was a British woman. She lived, oh gosh, like actually I have not done my research on like her life all that well, to be honest, but she lived at like the beginning of the 20th century, basically. And yeah, of course, she has become part of literary history by becoming the queen of crime herself. She published more than, I'm very sure, 60 novels in all of her life, including all of those novels starring two of her most famous protagonists, which are Miss Marple and Hercule Poirot. We're going to talk about them in depth a bit later. She also published a lot of plays, like theater plays, and actually she is the writer of the... Wait a second. Yeah? Excuse the interruption. So yeah, where was I? Agatha Christie is the author of the longest running play in history, I'm very sure. It is The Mousetrap. It is now in its, I want to say 60 something year, 62nd, 65th, 69th, I don't know. But it has never stopped running, except for, I guess, during the pandemic. But still, it has not ever stopped running because of lack of demand. People go to that play all day, every day, except for when Corona is around. Okay, but we're not just here to talk about The Mousetrap. But yeah, Agatha Christie, she has read so many iconic novels. She has created so many iconic characters. I am such a big fan of hers. I love this old-fashioned detective mystery genre so much. Like, I also have my Arthur Conan Doyle right here, because like Sherlock Holmes, that is like a very similar vibe, I think. So I love both of that. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to run you through my Agatha Christie collection, and then I have a very special book, which, gosh, that is like a story in itself of how I got that, basically. But okay, first, my collection. So, wait, can you see me? Okay, so right up here, we have all of my Miss Marple books. That is my Miss Marple books in German and in English. So there are, if I'm not mistaken, 13 Miss Marple novels. I have 12 of them right here, and then I have one of, like, the only novel of Agatha Christie I own that does not star Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple. Like, she has a couple of novels where neither of those like two main characters are featured. So out of the Miss Marple series, I would say, my favorite book is... Oh gosh, like, I'm definitely one of my favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's one of my favorite, and that is A Murder is Announced. It is very good. I think it has like one of the best plot twists for sure. And another one, okay, and another one I also really liked is Nemesis. I remember the last time I reread that, I was kind of, at first I was a bit frustrated because it starts very slow, but I remember the action like really building up, and it, like, in the end I was like, shit, this is one of like the best ones of like the Miss Marple category. What else I could like specifically recommend to you if you're like getting newly into this? There is a short story collection, basically. Oh, wait, where is it? Okay, it's called The 13 Problems. So this book features 13 different stories. And like basically the setting is that Miss Marple and a few of like her neighbors, her friends, they're meeting up there, creating like a, what is it, Tuesday or Thursday or Friday nightclub, basically, where each week they meet up and one of them tells a story they know, like of a real life event happening that included like a little mystery and that they know the solution of, but before they tell everybody, they make everybody take like a guess of what the solution could possibly be. And of course, in all of these scenarios, everybody else is flabbergasted. They have no idea what happened, but then there's always like this quaint little old lady sitting in the corner, Miss Marple, and she's always like, I know what happened. So yeah, if you're only newly getting into like this genre, maybe, with these being like 13 individual stories, maybe that'll help you like get into this thing. I don't know. Out of the like Miss Marple series, I would say that 1650 from Paddington is probably one of the most like well-known of Agatha Christie's novels. Okay, so much for the Miss Marple portion of this video. Moving on like to the non-main character novels, to be really honest, I have only read one of the novels that neither features Miss Marple nor Hercule Poirot, and that is, but this is arguably one of Agatha Christie's most well-known novels, so it's fitting, I would say. And that is And Then There Were None. So this is also like a very like quick read. It's rather thin book, and it's also like it has one of the best plot lines. So rough synopsis, no spoilers, don't worry. So we have 10 people all getting invited to a remote island off the shore of England, and they don't know who is sending out the invites, I think, but yet still everybody goes there. By the way, would you do that? You get some random anonymous invitations to somewhere. Would you go there? After reading this book, I bet you wouldn't. Anyways, so yeah, then they're all on this island, and because the weather's really bad, they are basically shut off. So they cannot exit the island anymore because like the sea is all that wild, so they can't leave anymore. And then it is a murder mystery. People start getting killed. And it is kind of like based off this children's rhyme, or like this nursery rhyme that that goes like, I don't know, 10 little soldiers. Wait, is it right here? I don't know. So, but there's like this nursery rhyme that this book is kind of like based on, and that nursery rhyme itself ends like, and then there were none. So that's like intertwined, and it's really well made. So yeah, like unfortunately I can only speak on this like non-Miss Marple Hercule Poirot section. I can only speak about this book, but this being one of her overall most popular books, I guess it's okay. Okay, now moving on to her other main character, Mr. Hercule Poirot, the Belgian detective that coined lines such as like using the little gray cells. That's him. Wait, is there something else? I don't know, but like in general, he's like this, like besides Sherlock Holmes, I would say he's like this quintessential detective figure. Him being like kind of like eccentric and all of that, and like also like this kind of like condescending genius. That is often how like detective and other detective fiction get described, and I feel like that is based off Hercule Poirot. Okay, so I have, wait, it's actually almost off screen right here. I have some of my Hercule Poirot novels right here. Like down here, I have like there are some English ones here too, but other than that, most of them right here are Spanish. And yeah, most of them are Hercule Poirot novels, but like this, for example, is also like a Miss Marple one. It's the only one though, I think. Oh yeah, this one is also Miss Marple, and this one. But yeah, other than that, they're all like Hercule Poirot down here, except for these two books. They don't really belong here. I only put them there because they were pretty looking. Okay, so starting off with, this is like a very fitting start because this was like literally the very first novel Miss Agatha Christie ever wrote, and that is The Mysterious Affair at Styles. And that's not only her first ever novel, but also the first ever plot she like introduced Hercule Poirot with. This takes place like in the English countryside. To be honest, like this was not one of my favorites. To be honest, like the plot in itself is not that extraordinary, I would say. Yet, I mean, it did kickstart off her career, if you say it like that, because it was very popular at the time. And gosh, I'm happy it got popular, because otherwise, would she have written all those other novels? Maybe not. So yeah, and the cover is really pretty, and I got it because I was like, okay, I gotta read like the first ever novel she's written, the first ever Hercule Poirot novel. But in itself, I would maybe not recommend this if you want to try Hercule Poirot. You've never written any of his stories before. What I would say you should maybe head into is either, this is again one of the most well-known of her novels featuring Hercule Poirot, Murder on the Orient Express. The film adaptation by Kenneth Branagh is excellent. I can only recommend it. So yeah, this, I feel like, do I need to talk about the plot? I feel like it's so iconic. Like, a murder is taking place on the Orient Express on its way from Istanbul to, it's going to Paris, I'm very sure. And yeah, Hercule Poirot is on board, and he's solving the mystery, and it's, yeah, it's a classic. It really is a classic. And then another one of the Hercule Poirot novels that I could recommend is the ABC Murders. I also think that this is one of the most well-known Agatha Christie novels, but it is so for a reason. So yeah, this features a murderer, wait, is that true? Yeah, that kills off victims by their initial names, or like by their names initials. That's the way to say that. So like the first victim has a name starting with like her like first name, and her family name starts with an A, and like the second one with a B, blah blah blah. Okay. And then like one last book I would like to recommend for Hercule Poirot is, this might be like my favorite cover out of all of these, Muerte en el Nilo, which is Murder on the Nile. There's also a Kenneth Branagh movie adaptation coming out. Like, it is not out yet, so I couldn't see it yet, but having seen Murder on the Orient Express, I'm sure it's gonna be chef's kiss excellent. But yeah, this is also like one of the most well-known, best of her Hercule Poirot mysteries, for a reason, because it's just that good. Yeah, as you can tell, probably by the title, it is a murder taking place on a boat on the Nile. I don't even need to say much else about this, but this leads me on to my next topic. If you feel like starting off into like this Agatha Christie almost genre in itself, and you don't really know where to start, a lot of her novels features like exotic scenery. Like, with exotic, I just basically mean like taking place outside of Britain, literally anywhere else. So we have books taking place in Egypt, in Mesopotamia, which is like today's Syria. We have books featuring like the Canaries, or wait, we're in like one book, we're also in Jordan, taking place at the like UNESCO Petra site, actually. Wait, it is this one. This is like City with Death, or like Murder, basically. Like, the English title must be different, but so yeah, this might also be like a feature of a book that might help you to decide where you want to start off. Maybe you have a region of the world that you're very interested in. Do a little research. Maybe one of Agatha Christie's novels actually takes place in that place on Earth, and that might be like a good starting point, I think. Okay, but now, I mentioned before that I have also prepared a very special book for this video. So let me tell you, it was quite a journey to get this. I ordered this exactly a month ago, and it said, yeah, this will take a month to get to you. Now, it should have arrived a couple of days ago, and yet it didn't. So I called like the little like book service I ordered it from, was like, yo, do you have like any kind of update of my book? And they were like, so yeah, right now we have like difficulties with deliveries, but mind you, of course, like, I completely understand. That's completely fine. We're like, with Rona, everything's crazy, I get it. But then they basically told me, yeah, like, we can really not tell you when this book will be available to you, because we have no idea when we will be able to get this to you. And it could basically be like another couple of months. So I was like, well, okay. then let me check if I can get this in another way. And so, yes, I actually managed, I have it right here, to get a copy of this book. But so I tried to order this book in English, but that copy is not available for a couple of months. There are translations of this out there in German and Spanish, but those were not at all available on any kind of website. Like they're just like, they do theoretically exist out there, but you cannot get your hands on this. So what I had to do in the end is I had to get this book in the language it was originally written in, which is French. So what I have right here is a comic book based on Agatha Christie's life. And it is therefore also called La Vraie Vie d'Agatha Christie. Now, okay, mind you, I have never in any way, shape or form received French lessons. Yet I did order a book in said language. Now, why did I do that? I just told you I could not get my hands on this book in literally any other language I could read. So I opted for the original version because I did never learn French, but I learned Latin for 8 years. And French is not as close to Latin as like modern day Italian or Spanish is, but still it helps, especially while reading. But still, yeah, this might take me a lot of time to get through, but I mean, I'm there for the ride. I want to like learn French at some point in my life, but right now I'm quite busy like with Spanish and with Korean, so I'm not starting anytime soon. But I mean, I will try to read this right now, but at the end of the day, with comics, you can also kind of just like look at the pretty pictures and you kind of get what's happening. Especially, I watched a I watched a documentary on Agatha Christie. It was only like 50 minutes long, quite recently, and actually that's how I got to know about this comic book, because they did like an interview with like the artist and like the author of this book, and they featured like little like they showed like little pictures, etc. So I saw it and was like, oh my god, that's so cute and so fun. I want to get my hands on that. So well, here I have my hands on it, though not really in a language that I can perfectly read. So like that's gonna be a train ride, but I'm down for it. Okay, so this, as I've just said, is a comic book about Agatha Christie's life. It is beautifully illustrated. Like I just got this about like 2 hours ago and I only read the first page so far, so I cannot like tell you a lot about it yet. But I mean, what is there to say? This is about her life. It starts off with the incident of Agatha Christie in her life disappeared for the total amount of 11 days. She went where nobody knew where she went. She never commented on that event in like her later life. She never said where she went. She never said what happened. There's a lot of rumor. There's a lot of theories around like what happened back then. Actually, one of my favorite YouTubers, she did like a little documentary on it, like Carrie. She did like a little, well, documentary, like very well researched. I'm gonna link it down below because I'm not gonna give you like a run through of that right now. But like that's basically where this story starts off from, like with her disappearance. And then I like already kind of like flip through. We go back into her childhood and then like into her further life. She worked as a nurse during the war. That's also why she knows so much about poisons that feature in a lot of her novels. She was one of like the first British people to travel the world. She was one of the first British people to surf on the shores of Waikiki Beach in fucking Hawaii. Honestly, at the end of the day, Agatha Christie was just the first boss bitch. That's what I like to think. You have your own opinion, honey, okay? But honestly, I think this woman is just great, and I will love to go through this. I'm not gonna wait until I will have read this, until I give like a little review on it right here, because this being in French, it might take a hot minute. So I'm gonna insert some clips right here of just like some of these beautiful paintings. But yeah, it's about like her traveling, just her life. And yeah, I thought it's a beautiful thing. That's why I need to get it. now, for the final segment of this video, I thought I would entertain you, because maybe you had a rough day, maybe you did not have a lot to laugh about today, so let me help you out with that. Because right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you in a language I do not really speak, which is French. I'm going to read to you like the first, the first page, which is this. I'm going to insert it right here somewhere. Yeah, so a little disclaimer once more, I do not speak French and I do not know all the rules of French pronunciation. So yeah, but this is basically the purpose, like me entertaining you by pronouncing things badly. So you're welcome. Okay, we are starting off. I don't know how to say dates in French for sure. So we're starting off in London, the 7th of December, 1926, and we see a little picture of a local or like of a contemporary newspaper right there that says Daily Mirror, mystery of women novelist's disappearance, as I just told you about, right? So, second picture, you ready? Ce romancier sont prêtés à tout pour faire parler d'eux. Third picture, right? This features Edgar Wallace, and he says, ce sont à coup d'autre un canular. Okay, I have no idea what that's. Maybe my Latin is not really helping out. Fourth picture. L'éditeur est très rusé. C'est une manière de promouvoir son dernier livre, Le meurtre de Roger Ackroyd, says Arthur Conan Doyle, and what he also says is, je n'aurais pas fait mieux. Okay, so I got what that first bubble says. So back then when Agatha Christie disappeared and nobody knew where she went, some people also said that it was like a publicity stunt to promote her newest book, which apparently was The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. I have not written that, but I have an audiobook of it and I've listened to that many a times. It has one of the best plot twists at the end. I'm not going to say anything else though, don't worry. Okay, picture number 5, let's go on. This is Dorothy L. Sayers, and she says, une énigme parfait, which means like a perfect enigma, right? So like a perfect mystery. And like last but not least, Mr. Christie, qu'avez-vous fait du corps de votre épouse? Like, this is just like me. What do you know about the corpse of your wife? Like, obviously, like, her corpse was not found because she didn't die. She reappeared after like 10 or 11 days, but nobody knew what happened in between, and she never said what happened. But of course, like during the time of her disappearance, like the press, like she was already famous at that time, so like the press, they went at it, and like also like her husband, I guess they also accused him of, I don't know, doing whatever. So like it was a point of crisis in her life, that's for sure. And yeah, she paired that off with disappearing for a hot minute, which again, that's girl boss shit if you ask me. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed my little introduction to Agatha Christie, one of my favorite novelists. If you need some more recommendations, I don't know if you have anything to say on this topic, comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!